Yo, what is up, everybody? It's me, that one Weeb, here with my first ever My Hero Academia What If, as you guys have read in the title. So, I was reading through the comments on my videos, since I read all my comments and likes and everything. Thank you guys so much for suggesting stuff. And I saw that someone commented, I'll put it on screen, like, right here, that they would like some My Hero Academia What Ifs, so I said, bet, and I'll make one. So, here we go, and since I love Naruto so much, we'll start with one of those. What if Deku's quirk was Chakra? So basically, in this what if, Deku, instead of being born without a quirk and quirkless, he would have a mutation like what Eri had, and it would not be related to both his father or his mother. Instead, he would have this ability called Chakra, which is in like the Naruto series. He has these lines that go through his entire body that have the energy of Chakra flowing through them, which allows him to use ninjutsu, genjutsu, and higher durability in taijutsu. Our story will begin right now. When Deku's born, he's obviously taken to the quirk doctors immediately to see if he was born with a quirk or if he'll develop one later in life or if he even has one. When this happens, Deku is examined and is found that he has abnormal veins inside his body that are not normal to other people. So when they discover this, they can assume that Deku does have some sort of quirk, though it doesn't show anything yet. The next few years in his life, Deku develops his quirk slowly. He meets Bakugo and the other people at his school, and when Bakugo picks on him for not having a quirk, this makes Deku upset, and he tells him that he does have one, and he's going to be strong just like All Might. So he shows Bakugo that he's wrong. He uses Chakra, and he uses a transformation jutsu. So basically, he figures out how it's natural to him in his head how to do certain easier ones that he can do by manipulating his energy, and he transforms into Bakugo, and then pulls his eye down, and forces his tongue out at him. This pisses Bakugo off, who doesn't even have a quirk yet either, and knows that he's gonna get one soon. And when Bakugo gets his own explosion quirk, he says that Deku's weird quirk isn't as good as his, and so that kind of makes Deku upset, and he says that he's wrong. So for the next few years of their lives, Bakugo and Deku are still rivals, but Bakugo doesn't pick on Izuku as much, just because Izuku has a decently powerful quirk. And this is the point where Naruto and them are walking through a museum in their middle school on a field trip. And they're walking through and they find that there's a ancient scroll that was from a long time ago, and it was more from an ancient civilization where ninjas were the ones who roamed the earth, and they had different lands named after the elements. Now, when Naruto's reading the scroll, he realizes he can understand the language it's written in, and that he sees some of these, and that it turns out this is the scroll of sealing from Naruto. He immediately stops while the rest of the group goes on, and he learns some of the basic jutsu and chakra things. And this is when he realizes what his actual quirk is. So it seemed that quirks had developed out of nowhere, when in fact people had predicted that it came from mice or something. But it turns out that quirks were a manifestation of chakra that had been missing from the world until that point. After Naruto's fight with Kaguya, and long after the Boruto series and Kawaki and the Ninja World's fall, chakra had settled into the land, into the plants, and returned to nature energy. When that happened, people had lost all their abilities to use chakra, so their bodies manifested new abilities using their genetics, called quirks, that used chakra but only in one way, and it was only self-generated chakra. When Deku discovers this, he realizes something, that his quirk is actually this energy that it's talking about in the scroll. He immediately starts writing down notes on what the scroll says about this type of clone jutsu and transformation jutsu and shuriken and what different kind of weapons, and he's intrigued by how it works. So he realizes all of this and then continues going on about his day. When he gets home later that day, he begins practicing these new hand signs he wrote down in his notebook. He immediately clasps his hands together and begins making tiger hand signs and different ninja hand seals. When he does this, he makes one clone, not a shadow clone, but a normal clone, which is kind of sad and pathetic at that point. Up until that now, Deku had always thought that his quirk was just energy manipulation, because he could do small things like make lights flicker on and off and other stuff, as well as do a transformation, but that was the only thing he learned intuitively. After that, he decided he would work on training his Quirk. This is where we get to the main story where he's being bullied by Bakugo, and they're about to graduate and choose what high school they want to go to. When everyone hears that Bakugo wants to go to UA High, they don't hear. No one is surprised about it. But then when they hear that Deku wants to go to UA High, they're kind of shocked. But they think that they don't know if his Quirk is strong enough, and they say he might want to do something else. But Deku frowns and looks up and says that it doesn't matter and that he will become a hero. Later that day, Bakugo, at the end of class, looks at his notebook, which instead of having all heroes and stuff in it, it has heroes and also mixtures of other notes and scrabbles of hand seals and different jutsu is what he's calling it. He picks it up and says that, look how stupid it is, and he burns it with his explosion Quirk, which makes Deku sad. He then throws it out the window and says that he might as well swan dive out the window and hope to get a better Quirk in the next life. When he says this, Deku looks up at him with a rage, and his hands are together. When this happens, Chakra envelops his hand, and he pounds his fist on the desk next to him, and it shatters in half. Afterwards, he goes downstairs at the school and picks up his notebook and begins walking home. When suddenly, behind him, sludge begins pulling out of the drain, and he turns around and sees a sludge monster looking at him, about to devour him whole. As he's being sucked inside, he says this can't be the end, and just as he's about to realize what's going to happen, he's pulled into a void. He wakes up, and it's the Sage of Six Paths, as we know, an old man who tells Naruto that he can't die yet, as Chakra has to come back to the world in order to save it, which makes Deku confused as to what's going on. And the Sage of Six Paths presses his hand at him and says that he'll need some Chakra for now to escape. When he does this, a wave of Chakra pulses out of Deku in the real world and shoots the sludge villain off of him. Deku falls to the ground and is gasping heavily. Then All Might comes out of nowhere and punches the sludge villain, instantly knocking him out. He says hello to the young man and is impressed with how he took care of that villain so handily. He says that his name is All Might, and Deku is excited to meet him. And if you guys want to see the next part of what if Deku had Chakra as a Quirk, then let me know, and let's hit 10 likes or above, and comment suggestions for any videos below. See you guys. Thanks for everything. Bye.
It's black and white.